Thanks so much, Senator Whitehouse, for your remarks and your leadership in protecting our democracy and fighting back against dark money. You said it so well in your statement, responding to the Supreme Court's Brownovich decision when you said, and you did another version of it here, this ruling shows we can't count on the court that dark money built. I like that and just might borrow it from you from time to time. I couldn't agree.
Free to use it.
Thank you. I couldn't agree with you more. This Supreme Court has been packed with right-wing ideologues, handpicked by billionaires using political litmus tests. Voting rights and campaign finance reform are in peril, and we now have a Supreme Court that's hostile to both. And these recent decisions lend even greater urgency to passing federal voting rights legislation, as we know we've got to establish national standards to protect voting, or we risk having our elections determined as much by who is not allowed to vote as by those who do vote. So federal legislation would almost certainly require, of course, reforming the filibuster. There simply is no moral or democratic equivalence between this Senate rule and the constitutional right to vote. The filibuster has been reformed several times prior, and it can and should be again. The filibuster is not mentioned or written in the Constitution. It is a parliamentary rule subject to change with a simple majority vote of the Senate. And what we're witnessing now is not what I had the chance to witness in the Senate, which was occasionally a senator would do a filibuster to protect their state. In my case, I did a brief filibuster on the dairy industry. Harry Reid was trying to make sure that he didn't put a nuclear repository in his state. But that's not what this is. This is a fundamental attack on our democracy using the fig leaf of the filibuster. At a bare minimum, the filibuster should be restricted so it cannot obstruct legislation that is essential to our democracy. In addition to legislation, we need to restore the legitimacy of our judiciary, which of course is exactly what Sheldon wasn't just talking about, but has been taking the lead on. Our Path to the Bench project is doing incredible work to supply the White House with diverse, qualified candidates for the federal bench. And we applaud the Biden-Harris administration's prioritization of the courts. It is encouraging to see President Biden nominate and the Senate confirm more judges in Biden's first 6 months than any other president in the past 50 years. Together, we can build a federal judiciary that reflects the public it serves. That said, we need to do more than wait for vacancies to arise on federal courts and nominate exceptional judicial candidates. We must address the naked theft of the Supreme Court. The 6-3 Brownovich case included the two justices who occupied those stolen seats. Who knows how that decision would have come off if Merrick Garland had been confirmed, and if the seat left vacant by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had actually been filled by President Biden, as it should have been. We need fundamental reform of our highest court. And frankly, this necessitates more than academic hypothesizing. The first two branches of government cannot protect our democracy if the court is going to bludgeon democratic legislation once enacted. The right has been methodical in its packing of the courts with young white male ideologues who are there to serve the very political interests of the right-wing billionaires who put them there, as Senator Whitehouse just so eloquently described. These ideologues will be on the bench for a generation or more. The progressive legal community has never been as important as it is right now, with the democracy that we live in and its legitimacy being in such peril. The Supreme Court has made it harder to vote and easier to buy elections. The conservative movement appears intent on preserving minority rule. We should expect these trends to continue unless there is a concerted effort to reverse them. The onus is on us. We need to pursue every opportunity available to protect voting rights and uphold the credibility of our elections. This means national legislation, state legislation, and court reform. It means an engaged citizenry and legal community, and not just in presidential election years. This is why I'm very grateful to be part of ACS. Our network, our advocacy, our progressive leadership is needed now more than ever. And I invite you all to donate today so that we can continue to support our network, including the great work of our Chicago lawyer chapter and law school chapters, I'm proud to say, that are at every law school in the Chicago area. I'm also grateful to be here with you all today to reflect on the progress made and honor some true progressive champions. Ruth Goldman and Abner J. Mikva were legends of our profession and serve as guides for so many of us who are committed to a progressive vision of the law. I think both of them would be very proud of today's recipients. We heard from Ruth Goldman Award recipients Ami Gandhi and Sharice Pryor. Both have chosen to dedicate their talents and profession to attacking some Goliath level issues in the legal community. At a time when voting rights are increasingly under attack at even the highest levels, Ami has been working to reduce barriers to voting and improve civic participation, not only in Illinois, but also in Indiana. Sharice has worked in government and now at BPI to build community safety and justice without compromising humanity. She played a leading role in negotiating the consent decree to reform the Chicago Police Department. And then she oversaw its enforcement. We are also honored that Sharice serves on the advisory committee to ACS's State Attorney General project. Chicago and the progressive legal community are lucky to have Ami's and Sharice's skill, advocacy, and energy. We'll soon hear about today's very deserving Abner J. Mikva Award recipients, Craig Futterman, Larry Rogers Sr., and Z. Scott, who are, of course, no strangers to this legal community. Craig founded and directs the Civil Rights and Police Accountability Project of the Mandel Legal Aid Clinic at the University of Chicago Law School. Craig's tireless advocacy has exposed the code of silence among police officers and the desperate need for transparency and accountability. He has lifted up the voices of impacted individuals and helped work toward justice in Chicago and beyond. Larry has been a trailblazing plaintiff's advocate in ensuring that the law works for the good of all in our society, not just for the wealthy few. He has spent his career representing the most difficult personal injury and wrongful death cases. He also served as the first African-American president of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association, inspiring a generation of lawyers of color. Finally, Z has left a positive mark on every responsibility she's taken on in her career, and she's taken on many. She has served as an assistant U.S. attorney, as executive inspector general for Illinois, where she promoted a culture of ethics in state employment, as a law professor at several law schools, and as a partner at a national law firm. She now serves as president at the Chicago State University. Throughout these varied and diverse roles, she has continued to lead with integrity, advance equity, uplift the legal profession, and hold us to a higher professional standard. It's inspiring to think about the number of lives changed for the better by Craig's, Larry's, and Z's great work. So thank you all for being here to celebrate and honor this progressive network and these legal legends. I want to acknowledge and thank today's organizers, Julia Waterhouse, Rebecca Sundin, Juan Thomas, Dan Cotter, Jerry Brown, and the entire Chicago Lawyer Chapter Board of ACS. And I want to specifically thank Jeff for emceeing and for being a great advisor to the local chapter and the organization nationally. So now I'll turn things back over to Jeff.